Hello, everybody. Welcome to another CNC Q A. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I've got my usual suspects here helping me out. Let me bring my crew in. Here we go. Mr. Paul and Mr. Ryan are going to help me out again tonight. Paul, you got any exciting news to share with us tonight?
Just been working hard on my Gatton Christmas challenge.
Okay, good deal. I'm sure Ryan's happy to hear that.
At least somebody is.
How about you, Ryan? You got anything exciting to talk about tonight?
Oh, I've just been Christmas lighting it up, so it haven't been able to play around with too many personal projects last week or so.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you who may not know, Ryan does, I guess you'd call it commercial Christmas tree lighting stuff, where you do all the work for a homeowner and light their house up and trees and yard and whatever else they want lights put on. So, all right. Well, you want to say a few words about your Saturday night podcast?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we're still doing the making it up as we go. It'll be episode 70 this weekend, 9 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to be talking about the latest in videos and stuff of CNCs, lasers, and 3D printings and all that good stuff. If you want to join in on the Gatton Christmas Challenge, it's off and running. Everybody's going to start posting their videos here in less than 20 days, which is pretty awesome. And we actually have our latest sponsor is out there in the chat. It's Nemo Labs. They stepped up really huge for us. So if you're thinking about getting a Nemo Labs CNC, they're giving us some great stuff to give away for it, including a $400 gift card on one of the 6040s or the 5040s, and also some $200 gift cards for whatever you want out of their store. It can go towards the machine or to some of the other stuff, some dust boots, and clamps. So they've really stepped up really big for us, and we appreciate it. So thank you to them and all of our other sponsors that are out there. Cody's or Cadence Manufacturing Design with Jenny Bits. We have Rapid Change ATC. We have Pixel CNC. We have
Wham Bam.
Yeah, Wham Bam is out there. So there's lots of cool stuff for everybody that wants to participate and have a good time.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I just want to give anybody that's watching, let's see, we got a few folks out there watching tonight. I just want to give you all fair warning. I was up late last night, and I have been I've been kind of in a daze all day today. Been working on some 3D printing projects, and I have done absolutely zero preparation for tonight's show. So if you like train wrecks, you're probably at the right place here. So. But anyway, what I wanted to do is, and I was glad to see in the comments here, Mr. Clint's out there in the live chat. He had posted a picture of a 3D car in the Nemo Labs Facebook group, and he was having some trouble. Looked like when it got down to the bottom, it was kind of poking through the bottom of the material. So I thought we'd spend a little while right off the bat here and talk about how you can avoid that little problem. So I've got Vectric open over here. Let me screen share. And I'm going to try to set this up as close to what you had, Clint, that I can. I'm going to create a new file. I don't know what size material. I think you said you were using 3/4 thick material. So I'll just go 12 by 7.5 or so. That's probably good enough. Let's see, machine bed, data position in the middle. Yeah, that's close enough, I think. Okay, now I think you said that was clip art, and I did peek at that the other day, and I'm not sure, but I think it was this one that you were using. Not sure, but I'm gonna stick it in there, and we'll size it up a little bit. Put it back in the middle here.
He said, yes, that's it.
Okay, I thought it looked. Well, I knew it was a fish. That much I knew. I wasn't sure about anything else. But anyway, so I'm going to use that clip art of that fish that's down in a dish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here.
Sounds like supper.
Fish in the dish.
Yeah.
Fish in the dish, yeah. So we're going to come over here, and what I wanted to show you, Clint, I don't know if you looked here or not, but if you go up here to where it says material setup and you click on that, then you can see everything about your setup here. Like here's my datum in the middle. I'm doing the touch off on the machine bed. And this is the part I wanted you to see, because if you slide this around, and also right here where it says model thickness, even though I've made that model bigger, scaled it to kind of match the size of this material here, it's 0.5462. And if you take this slider, or actually you can come here and hit this, and I can make that whatever I want. So if I make this, let's say I make it 3/4 and my material's 3/4, well, it's going to be a little tricky, because you see when I move the slider, it's all, you don't see the other color there. It's all like right there, and I've got 0 gap. So let's go back and set this. I don't remember. You remember what it was? 54 or something? Something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. But now you can see the other colors here. So see, when you pull this down, that tan part is the thickness of your model. This whole thing represents the thickness of your material, which is 3/4. So your model thickness needs to be, obviously less than your material thickness. And if you want to start up near the top, see, like I'm at, well, let's see if I can just type. I'm going to put 25 thousandths is what it's going to be, gap above the top there. So that little sliver is 25 thousandths. And there's the model, which is 0.54. And the model thickness, or no, it's the model thickness is 5.4. So we should be good. So now if you, we'll hit OK there, and I'm going to do a roughing pass. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch downtown Jenny like I always do, and I'm going to just set model boundary for this one. I don't remember if you said which way you had yours set, but I'm just going to go with the model boundary, and we'll calculate the roughing pass. So there's our roughing pass. Little Jenny bit hogging it out here. And then we'll come and we'll add the finish pass, which I use that 1/8 inch thing. And again, I've got set the model boundary, raster, yeah, all that's okay. And we'll hit calculate here. So now we've got both our tool paths. And the problem that Clint had is when it did the finishing pass, he had some holes pop up right down here at the bottom towards the lowest part. Now, a lot of times on Vectric, it may look like it's okay. But if you've got that set where that's down here and it's paper thin, it's going to cut a hole probably in your project. But another thing I wanted to show you is if y'all look, every time I move the mouse over there, it quits, but I got to keep it over here. But look in the very bottom right-hand corner. You see those little numbers that says X, Y, and Z? If I hold my mouse up here to the top of the surface of the board here, you can see that Z over there says 0.75 because 0 is going to be the machine bed.
Mhm.
So this is going to be 0.75. So the other thing you can do is you can check, and if I put it right here where this fish's gill is, and look at the Z, I'm at 0.6736. So that's barely below the surface. But if you keep moving it down here to what's going to be the lowest parts, you can see that when I move this arrow around, I'm still well over 200 thousandths on the side there. So if I, of course you can't see anything like this, but I don't guess there's a way to, no, I don't think there is in this stuff. But that's another way you can tell is always look down there in the corner and you can see really how deep you're going. So like right now, I can't remember where your hole was. I think it was right back here by this fin. And I'm seeing 0.1969. So let me come back over here to where this was here, and let's increase that thickness of that model. We had it at 0.54. Let's make it 0.7, which is still less than the material, but you can see here now the model's the tan part, so I've got a gap of 25 thousandths right above, but you can see I don't have a whole lot down here at the bottom. So if I come over here and recalculate these tool paths, and then we'll run these again. And this, of course, is making the dish deeper. That's a good looking fish. I like that clip art there. Okay, now again, if I hold the mouse up here on the top of the wood, it's 0.75. Right there where that gill was, it's still 0.6668, something like that. And now if I come down here to this low part, now if you look over there, you can see there's 0.046, so about 46 thousandths. So that's starting to get paper thin. So even though Vectric, when you do the simulation, it may look like might look like it's going to come out just fine, but you don't have enough meat there, and especially depending on what kind of bit you're using, and it's liable to pull it up, and next thing you know, you've got a hole where you didn't want one. Mm-hmm. So that is how to do it, is to make sure, you check it by doing this, moving your mouse around and looking in that lower right hand corner to see what the Z is. But like I said, if it looks like it's getting a little thin, let's say we want to make this, let's make it 65. We still want to try to get the fish as fat as we can. So now you can see, now you can see we've still got our 25 thousandths gap at the top, and we could even make that less if we wanted to. But now you see we've got a bit down below. So if I check this, it's going to say, what does that say? About 75,000, something like that. So that may or may not be enough. But every time you change it, you're going to have to recalculate the tool pass.
Another thing, it's probably important to zero your tool at the same spot, isn't it, when you change bits?
Mhm.
Yeah, you always want to try to change. For example, like if let's say you want to set it on the top of the material. Well, since you're carving this dish right in the center, uh, and this would be where you mark your little mark. Well, now when you go to change bits, now that material's gone. You've removed some of it, so you're going to have to come over here or up here. So what I do is, it's okay if you want to do that, but instead of setting the Z right here in the middle when you first start, go ahead and pick a spot over here and do it right here, even though you haven't carved anything yet. But then that way, if there's any difference in the thickness of your material, you're always setting that Z0 using the same, or at least approximately the same location, uh, you know, where you do for each tool. So now if we come up here, and again, if I hold up mouse here, there's 750. At the top of the board, that's 0.6635, so that's still about the same. Now, when I get down here, you can see that if I move it around, it looks like the lowest amount I see is 0.0923, so that's still under 100 thousandths, and that's getting pretty thin. I personally wouldn't want to run it that thin. I would probably come back over here and hit this, and probably make this set this model to maybe 0.6, and then we'll recalculate everything. And let me double check. Yeah, my gap above is still 25 thousandths, but you can see I've got plenty of meat there now. Or where here it says gap below model, I'm at about 1/8. So I've got plenty of meat down here at the very bottom where it's going to be the thinnest, and it should work just fine then. But like I say, you have to be careful, because a lot of times VCar Pro won't actually show it going through, and it may not technically be going through, but it's just going down there getting so paper thin that the bit pulls it up. It's like when you try to router something that's 20 thousandths thick, you're just, you're more ripping it than cutting it with the bit. So here if I go down here now, I'm at about 0.140 or something like that. So a little over 1/8. Seeing if there's any other low spots. Let's see what this is here. Yeah, so I would say that's probably good to, if you're using 3/4 inch material and you're going to do a dish carving like this, make it about 0.6 or something like that. And like I said, you could come over here and you could make this gap, practically nothing. You could, there's like 3,000. So if you wanted to have it start carving right away into the top, the only thing with that is if your material's not exactly flat or something's not right with it, you may get some odd results there too. So I always like to put at least about 25 thou or so.
Clint wants to know, why do we need any gap above the model?
Well, you don't, but if your material's cupped or got a hump in it or something like that, that could throw things off. I always like I said, I like to put about 25 thou or so on top, just so I know it's going to straighten out all of the top surface. So, but anyway, that should straighten you out. And if it's just like I said, it's not that it was technically going through. It's just that it's getting so close that that bit's going to kind of tear it up because it's so thin. It's not enough material to not get messed up by the bit. But I know a lot of people, don't even know about that. This part here where you can take the mouse and hold it and look over there and see, because the X and Y work the same way. It's showing me where I'm at on that board. You see the X is -5 something. That's because I'm to the left of what the center point is. So this would be 0, 0 right around in here. And then if I come over here, this is going to be +5 or so. So,
Clint wants to know, shouldn't the top of the model be flush with the top of the material?
I wouldn't want it to be 100% at the top, because you might have, if the piece isn't 100,000% flat, you're going to have a little bit of detail that's going to be flat there.
Yeah,
So
you might have
like
Yeah.
even having it down, just a little itty bitty bit is going to help, the detail of the model itself. Because
Right.
the highest part is that fin, or is it the right there by the gill? I mean, it's pretty close either way, right?
The highest part is, I think that's the highest
Yeah.
right there. That's 0.6. I saw a 6, there's 6708. So I think that little fin or gill or whatever that is, that's probably the highest part. And if I come along the body here, see, it's like 0.64, 65. And then of course it gets lower as you go down here. But this area right in here is the tallest part, looks like. But yeah, it's just like I said, it's just you tried to cut it a little bit too close. And in fact, I think let's just since we're playing around here, let me come over here and I'll just go crazy. I'm going to make this. I'm going to set the model thickness for 0.8. So now it's thicker than what the board is. And you see it gives you an error here. It's saying, hey, wait a minute, your model thickness exceeds the material thickness. But it just gives you an error. It doesn't. Oh, no, I guess it won't let you do it. I was thinking you could go ahead and do it. Yeah, the OK is grayed out there, so you can't do it. So I guess, let's see if I think it will let me do it if I make it exactly the same as the material. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it'll let you do it that way. But I think what it's doing is it's now saying, okay, here we go. So see, it's now saying the gap above material is 0. So that's what you're talking about. But the modeling plane Z is still 0.3 of a thousandths thicker than what you're saying your material is. It'll let you do it. And when I run this, I'll watch it make a liar out of me, but I'm pretty sure when I run this, it's not going to show a hole.
Yeah.
But I'd almost guarantee you get down that close, you're going to have a hole because that material is so thin down in there. Well, that looks good. It looks sure enough good because the fish is nice and fat. But when I get over here, like I said, there's a Z of 25 thousandths. Well, that's pretty thin. That's a few sheets of paper, so it's probably going to tear a hole when you run that bit down there through that. So always give yourself 100 thousandths or something like that, or 1/8 inch, something like that, and you won't have any problem. But You try to cut it a little too close. And of course, too, like I said, if you tell it your material is 75, 3/4 thick, 0.75, and then technically it's got a dip in the middle or something, and it's a 0.745 or something like that. Well, then you're going to have a weird looking flat spot probably on your fish,
Mm-hmm.
and you won't like that. So always give, put it, 15, 20, 25 thousandths gap of, below the top, and then make sure you've got enough meat at the bottom so that when it starts hitting these low spots, it doesn't tear it because it's so thin. And of course, the only other way to do it is to just start out with a thicker piece of material, and make sure you don't go all the way to the bottom of it. So if you want to, if you want a deep dish and you can't get it by using a 3/4 piece of material, find you some, 4/4 or something like that you can carve it out of.
Well, the other
So,
thing to remember too, when you, I mean, I've never done any the 3D carving, but just in even the 2.5D, the depth that you go down, like you think that you need to go down as far as possible, but you really don't. Like I've noticed even when doing wedding signs and stuff like that, you're going down even an eighth of an inch or whatever is plenty for the detail and all that you're going to see.
hmm
It's
hmm
you know it is nice if you can go deeper, but you don't necessarily have to.
yeah. And when you're making stuff like this, I mean, obviously, it's more realistic looking if you can go really deep. That way, that fish will be nice and fat. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
It'll look like a real fish. But the thing of it is, if it's a plaque that's going on the wall and everybody's looking at it from 10 feet away, you're just spending a lot of extra time carving to make that fish fat when you could, like Ryan said, just go down a little ways and you still get a lot of the detail. It's just not as deep, and it won't matter once you get it. Okay, let's see here what we got.
Got another question here, Dave.
Okay, let's see. Is there a way to tell how much thickness these models require? Well, when you, especially with this clip art, let me go back to the over here, and we'll grab another one. In fact, just for giggles, let me. Everything's the same there. Let me go grab that same one. Ah, Dave, come on, clip art. Let's just pop it in here. And if I go ahead and come over here, where is it? Okay, it tells me as I pull it in there without changing anything, it's 0.3536 thick. But if I scale it like I did a while ago, because now I've got this bigger piece of wood, and I want to get it as big as I can. See, as I scale it now, it's 0.5767. So you almost have to always check by looking over here or something. And again, I can say gap above model, come up here. Let's see. All right, there's 26 thou. And it's going to say what I got below is 147. So that should be plenty. So, so I guess to be able to tell how thick your model is, when you bring one in fact, I'll go grab a different one here. Because that one was what, 35 something when I first brought it in. We'll click here. Let's go grab something. What is that, a pig? Yeah, we'll just grab a pig. Put it right there. Okay, and again, I haven't scaled it or anything, so now let's come over here and look. It is 0.3147. So see, they're going to be probably various thicknesses of the model. It's just however they happen to draw it and save it, but they're all scalables. Or yeah, so you can make it bigger. And now when I put it back here in the middle, it's now 0.4199. So again, if I move this up here and put about 20, where am I at? There's 26,000 thereabouts. Now I've got 0.3037 gap below the model. So, all these, like I say, all these different models you get. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go create another new one, and we'll keep those. Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll keep those same settings, and then we'll go here and import this model. This is that cross that I did the other day, and this is one I bought. And of course, it comes in it's metric. So let me change the scale, and then I need to flip it around that way. And then I'm also going to need to change it. So I think I said this is 12 inches this way. So I'm going to change this X, and I'm going to keep the X, Y, and Z ratio locked so it moves all of them at the same, keep it in the right proportion. So I'm going to make this 11 so it'll fit on that piece of material. Okay, so now it fits on that piece of material. And if let's see, let's come and look right here. Here you can see it's at the top. So if I position and import it, I can move this around like this. So see, that model is going to be a different thickness depending on what scale I make it, how big a material I am, and all that. But that's part of doing 3D work. You have to know how to figure out how you can get it in the part of the material that you want without some of it sticking up and you miss carving some and have a flat spot, or just something that looks stupid on the top of your material, or you set it down where you're too low and now you've done cut through the bottom, like with that dish and stuff. So, and again, this all works the same way. If I come over here, it's telling me this model thickness right now, as I've got it on there, is 0.6049. It's saying that there's no gap underneath the bottom of it, which in this case might be okay because, it's flat on the bottom. So that might be all right. Or I could come up here to the top and say, put just a little bit of a gap there. Now the thing's right in the material. So since this is a cross and you're not carving, it's only going to carve down what that model is, 0.6049. So whatever this extra is here, which is below the material, below the model, says 0.1378. That'll just be a part of the cross that will be just add to the thickness. So,
can I share a screen for a second, Dave?
you sure can. Let me get off of this one. Whoops, I gotta click.
I gotta see if I can find it here.
Glenn, I hope that's helping you. If it is, let me know, and if not, let me know too, and we'll try to come up with something then.
No, I guess I can't. I thought I could, but I can't.
Yeah, you should be able to share the screen.
Well, Russ Meadows sent me an example of something with the with it cut too thin. And I'm trying to figure out, let me see if I can bring it up again. I had it in here, I think.
Well, let me stop sharing my screen so that maybe that will. You have to hit like.
Oh, I got to open it in a different screen, don't I?
Well, no, you don't have to. You just have to tell it what screen you got it open on. And if you're
Yeah.
only using one screen, it may cover up, the other stuff you're looking at.
Yeah.
It makes it harder.
Let me bring it up in a different screen and see if
Okay.
it shows up better. All right. Now
Clint's asking what that middle line represented.
I think that's the 0 plane. Let me go back and look at that again. Yeah, see the modeling's. Let's see. Let me do this. Well, you don't see it now in this thing, but the modeling Z plane is at 3.3529, which is going to be right in here in the middle of the thing here. Oh, I forgot I'm not sharing.
Let me see if I can make this big here.
There you are.
Did it show up big? Did it?
There you go.
Okay.
Peanut the squirrel.
All right. Now, are you on the?
Yeah.
Because we've got your Facebook shared. We just don't have the.
Yep. I can't get that.
Oh, you're trying to open up.
There
that?
It goes. There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so now what are we looking at? Is that a hole on the left side?
That's a 3D print that's too thin.
Ah. Well, what you would have to do is you would have to set the model, like if you're using 3/4 inch material, which would be pretty thin for something like that. But
Russ said the holes is where it's too thin.
Okay,
and the broken piece on the left hand side.
Well, how much material did he have underneath the model? Where it says
that, Russ? He's out in the chat. He said it did this when he first started doing 3D carves.
Oh, okay.
He's the guru of 3D carves.
Yeah, but that's that's another case where he's probably cutting it too close. May have had that setting all the way up to the bottom part of the material, and it just, like I said, it may not even show up in VCar Pro or Aspire or whatever you're using, because it may be, if it's saying there's 1,000ths of material there, it's not going to show a hole in the simulation. It thinks it's okay, but obviously you get down thin like that bit's going to rip it up, and then you end up with a hole.
Yep.
So you just have to check your measurements by using that material setup thing I was talking about.
He says it was 3/4 inch material, but he needed a thicker blank to cut it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice looking carve, though.
It is. And you know what? I'm not sure, but I think I have that file, or I have one very similar to it, because I know it's got Jesus and the crown of thorns on a cross, but I don't know if it's that same model, but I got one similar. But
what kind of wood
those look good if they're in something deep enough.
Yeah. Hey, Russ, what kind of wood is that? See if he
I want it. It almost looks like,
hits cherry.
oh, that's some dark cherry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice looking card, though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Okay.
Well, do we have any other?
What do I got to do to get our picture back here?
There we go. We got it.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Uh, let me check. We got a bunch of comments over here, and I haven't been scrolling through them. Has anybody got something I've missed or want me to?
No, I think we were trying to get them as they were coming through.
Okay, I guess. Okay, yeah, Russ said he did that one when he first started. Like I say, he's a lot better at it now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he saved one of his things like that, but that's still a good looking carve.
It is.
But yeah, some of the ones where, like I said, that one with the fish, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But on that one that we were just showing with Jesus on the cross with the crown of thorns, that one, the deeper you can go and get more detail, the better it's going to look.
Maybe, I don't know if you talked about this when I was trying to bring that up or not, but Clint says I always have to pull my model all the way to the top or it will not show when I import it. But even if you do that, you should be able to lower it once you get it in.
Yeah. Now, is he talking about the clip art?
All he says is I always have to pull my model all the way to the top or it will not show when I import it. Oh, that's. Russ says this. I mean, did you get it up here yet? No.
Yeah. Another thing you can do too, if say you go buy a piece of some kind of wood at, okay, I always have to pull the model all the way to the top or it will not show when I import it. Okay, now Clint, are you talking about clip art or are you talking about a model that you got like maybe off of Thingiverse or something like that? Or maybe you purchase one from someplace? Because it needs to be in the material for it to show up, I think.
Then Russ posted this there.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is if all you've got in your shop is some 3/4 stock and you've got a model like that one we just looked at that Russ showed, and it's got a lot of detail, cut 2 pieces and glue that sucker together, laminate it, make it 1.5 inches.
Yeah. Chances are you'll never see the seam.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if it's something that's going to be hung on the wall or something like that.
What's this say?
Larry Duggar in the house. How you doing, Larry? Good to see you in the chat. Should the model be thinner if the size or diameter was smaller?
So if you make it smaller, will it be thinner?
Yeah.
It could be, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, let's.
It's Clint says it's a STL file.
Okay. Well, we're running. I'm running out of time here, but for what I was going to do something else with the rotary, we'll save that for next week. But let me screen share again. We got a little bit of time here. Let me screen share.
All right.
And I've got this.
I'll save this question and bring it up when you're done.
Okay. All right. So I'm right here on the screen share again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Oh, I got to do it this way. All right, so let's bring this over here. Let's go to, I don't know, Thingiverse is always the one I think of. So let's just go here and I don't know. Well, let's just look up fish. See what they got in the fish department. Okay, now of course these are STL files that why is this showing up here? Where'd that go? I clicked on something now. All right, let's there it is. Let me grab this fish right here. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so this, oh, that's going to be a problem right there, I can tell. Let's go find something different. I don't know why these are, oh, I don't know why that was showing up. Okay. Let's try that again. Oh, now is it not on the?
Nope.
Yeah, now it's not showing up there, is it? There we go. There we are. All right, so let's try to pick something here that's all these goofy 3D printed things. Okay, here's a fish, and notice how they've got it just kind of standing up on its end there. So let's click on that. Perch fish. Let's see if we can get this one. Of course, I gotta wait. Well, they make you wait 30 seconds or something like that before you can download it, I think. But we'll try taking this one and seeing how it works.
Now, is that perch fish a perch, or is it because it's perched on its tail?
Well, I don't know. It's
I couldn't resist that. Sorry about that.
let's see. Let me go check my. Let me come over here and check and see if it's downloaded yet. Ah, there it is. Okay, so I've got to extract that. Okay. Oh, this is an object file. I don't know if I can bring that in or not. We'll see. Okay, so let's drop that down. Where'd my V carb go? Let's see if I can. Oh, I got to do this. So let's come here. Go over to downloads, Perch Fish. Let's see what happens here when I do this. Okay, so see, there's the fish, and it's standing up like it was on Thingiverse there. So we're going to take it and rotate it around. Let's see, like that maybe. And let's see. Whoops. Okay, so we can. Well, let's see. All right, so so you can see how part of it's sticking up above the thickness there. Okay, so let's see what we've got here when we come over here. Yeah, we're getting an error because it says the model thickness is over an inch thick. So there's no way it's going to fit on this 3/4 inch blank. So if you look, you can see it's way thicker. Oh, I see why. I don't have it laid down yet here. Oh, that's probably my screw up there. But still, I don't think it's going to. Don't look that great. All right, so if I come over here and I set the model thickness to, we'll go 0.6, and now I can put just a few thou on the top, and the gap below now is a little over an eighth, so that should work, I think. Although I think I've still got the, let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work because I got it. I don't think I got the fish laid down good. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay, and also let's do. Let's see. That's not what I want. Let's go to model boundary. Let's go to material boundary. We'll do the whole thing, and we'll do it that way too. All right, that's going to take a minute. There we go. Okay, of course I got it put on there where you got to stand on your head to look at it, but yeah, that looks like that would work okay. And of course, this isn't down in a dish, but when I move the mouse over here, see, I'm still 0.48 something, so it's not really going that deep at all on there.
It's a dead fish.
Yeah, it's not a good looking fish, but it does kind of look like that other one if I didn't have it put upside down. Let's see if I can. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the same fish. Looks like it anyway.
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, you just have to, like I said, you just kind of have to get used to double checking your model thickness and where it is in your thickness of material. Like I said, I like to leave a few thou on the top and make sure there's enough meat in the bottom to, especially if you're doing one of those dishes or something, because like I said, if it gets paper thin, it's not going to show a hole in Vectric because it thinks that material, which technically there is material there, but it's so thin, you're going to rip it up. That's what's going to create the hole. So
there. Now to come up with a different topic.
Okay, let's see. I have a question, though I'm not sure if it's appropriate for this live session. Trying to do an inlay using two different materials, wood and acrylic. Do I have any tips for that?
Test.
Yeah, test is good, but really, I mean, if you've done inlays before, the problem is going to be the acrylic. You can probably get the wood, and I'm assuming you're doing the female part in the wood and the male part in the acrylic, or the inlay part in the acrylic is what I'm guessing. But, you just have to do it like you do any other, whether it was two pieces like maple and walnut or something.
I would think that you wouldn't do it with the methods of doing the ball nose or the V bit. I would think you would want some sort of straight, cutter to do that, just because if you're using anything with an angle on it, then it's gonna.
Yeah, that's the problem. The acrylic's kind of tricky anyway, as far as, you can't just throw any old bit in there and use it on acrylic. But looks like he's saying he did a test, but he did it using wood only. But yeah, it'd probably be a little tricky doing it with that, just to try to get the acrylic part to fit good. It says use a V bit. Oh, that's somebody else telling him to use a V bit. But yeah, you just, like you do any inlay, just reverse the image of the other part, and hopefully you get it accurate enough that it fits in there good and glues up right.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. If you get that run, send me a picture, and I'll show it here on the show. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
That would be pretty interesting.
If it's a Christmas thing, enter it in the Gatton Christmas Challenge.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
The other thing is if it doesn't work with the acrylic, whatever, I guess, depending on whatever the inlay is, you might be able to do epoxy instead. And then you could just surface the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, those are always fun. You'll have those little staticky shavings all over your shop this time next year from when you do it. But yeah, they are cool looking when you get them done. Those are a neat way to do things. But they, yeah, they're a little messy when you do them. I guess not really any worse than some other things we do. But yeah. All right. Well, we're already up to about an hour here, so I'm gonna get ready to wind this one down. But next week, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go kind of at random, go to one of those 3D sites where, kind of like the Thingiverse or 3D Cults or Things or whatever, I don't know how many different ones there are. And somebody can, as I scroll through, somebody can pick something and we'll see if we can make it work as a rotary axis project, because all of these, I've shown these before. This is a knight that I did on the little rotary axis here for NEMA Labs. And then this is a queen that I did. And these were nothing more than things I got off Thingiverse, and they're made to be 3D printed from the bottom up like that. But if you know how to set them up right, you can use them, because it's an STL file, which is what you need to use. And you can use that just like you would any other file. All right. Any other questions or comments or any of that kind of stuff? I guess I should point out, I'm sure most of you probably been here before, but if you haven't, you'll notice that I have the NBS 6040 back here behind me. And then on the other side of this enclosure, I also have a 5040, NBX 5040, and there you can see the rotary. It's just sitting there. I haven't set that up yet. But let me get these off of here. If you are interested in checking out any of the NEMA Labs machines, there's a link to the NEMA Labs website down below. And also, most importantly, I should show this because you can use the discount code that is shown there in that banner, but it's also a link down below. You can use that and get a 10% discount off anything you purchase from the NEMA Labs website. So be sure and check them out. And also, I don't know if did I ever make up something? Yeah, I did. Where did I put that silly thing? Let me turn that Turn that banner off here a minute. Somewhere, I always forget this one. Let's see where it's at. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we got the Nemo Labs Facebook group.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's a QR code. You can just scan that with your phone. It'll take you right to the Facebook group. Be sure and join. And feel free to ask any questions. I usually try to look for anybody that's got questions, and if I can answer them right then, I will. Comment in the group, or in this case, sometimes it's better to show than just try to explain it with a Facebook comment. So I like to use that as material for this live stream here. So if you have any questions, good place to put them in there. I think we're up to like 70 members now or something like that. Not a real big group, small group of folks, but you see a lot of cool projects, people doing stuff and posting their pictures and all that in there. So, but anyway, I guess if we don't have any other comments or questions or anything like that, we will.
Clint had one for you real quick. Where's the option to see if our bits will pass between vectors?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about like if you're doing a clearing pass and it does, and your bit's too big, I think is what he's talking about. All right, I can show that real quick here. I think. Let me get something queued up over here on the thing here. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Okay, I'll just make something simple. We'll do that, and then we'll do this, and we'll grab something that's round, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This isn't a very good example, but maybe it'll get what you're talking about here. Let me get over here to share the screen again. Okay, I've just drawn this up real quick. So if we were going to try to pocket this out, but we wanted to leave these as raised, the square and this. And if I come over here, and if this isn't what you're talking about, let me know. But let's say I'm going to do a pocket, and then I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to hold down Shift and highlight both of these. And I've got the 1/4 inch downtown Jenny. Well, you notice I've got this circle really close to that thing. So you can see it can't get inside there because there's just not room. There's less than 1/4 inch there. So I don't know if that's what he's talking about. He says, where's the option to see if our bits will pass between vectors? And the other thing, usually you run into that when you're trying to do text. You get some kind of fancy text and it has a real small thing and you're trying to do a clearance and it won't fit. So if I come back over here, to the 2D view, you can see that the 1/4 inch bit will fit over here in this tight spot, but it won't quite fit there. There's just not room. Even if I bring this down a little bit, it probably still won't fit. You can see it got a little closer. It got kind of in there. And then, of course, if I hit this one and move it over, now you can see it can't fit in there. So I'm not sure if I'm totally understanding your question. If that's the only way that I know of is to put your bit in there and then you simulate it and you look and see what it didn't get. So see, I could come back here and say, okay, I want to add another bit. So I'm going to leave that one in there, but I'm going to select a 1/8 inch. So now I've got 2 of them in there. So now when I calculate this, it does the clearance one first. So if I turn this one off, you can see it can't get here because that 1/4 inch bit won't fit up there against the edge, and it can't fit over here. So it goes around it this way. But when I put the 1/8 inch bit in, now it's small enough it can squeeze through there. So it can get to all those places. So I'm not totally sure I'm understanding your question, but that's the way I understand it, is that, you know, you put your bits in and you just keep putting one smaller and smaller and hitting calculate until you see that it's showing a tool path going up there. So this one, you would run 2 tool paths. That first one, the one that's marked clear 1, that would be the 1/4 inch, and then the other pocket would be just coming in and cleaning up what it couldn't reach. In fact, let's do that. So if I preview this one, that's what it's going to look like. Now, if I do this one, you notice it doesn't do all the rest of this stuff. This is what somebody was talking about the other day. That rest machining is what they call this, I think. So it only comes in and gets what the other bit couldn't get. So if I do this one, now it comes up and cleans up that and comes over here. And it doesn't have to waste time going across all this because it already knows that first bit did it. All right. I don't know if that's cleared anything up or not. I hope so.
He said, yep. No.
Okay.
One of his 1/8 inch bits tore his fonts up.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing with when you're trying to do those little fancy fonts, because sometimes those fonts are real thin.
Yeah.
And you use a 1/4 inch bit and it can't get in between them. But then when you come back and use the 1/8, it'll fit between them. But what's there is so thin that if it grabs it, boom, it's gone. So especially if you're using pine or something, if you're using oak or something, maple or something like that, you might be okay.
Doing V-bits with that type of stuff is a lot easier.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I hope that helped some folks out. We're over our time limit, I guess, an hour and 13. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And for anybody that's new, I think I see, I don't know, maybe they're not new, but I see some names that I don't remember seeing before. If this is your first time here, if you like this, be sure and leave it a thumbs up. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of these and like to catch them live, which is always helpful because then you can ask questions in the live chat and I can turn right around and show you right now. Whereas if you're watching it as a replay, you can ask a question, but you've already missed your chance for me to show it right here on the screen or something. But just be sure to subscribe if you're not, and hit the little bell to get notifications. I do these every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, we're now on the crappy time, and it's been dark for hours.
I hate that.
That was my bedtime. I should have been in bed 2 hours ago. My dog does not like this time change at all. He look, because it'll be dark and he's like looking at me like, "Come on, let's go get into bed." And I'm like, "Dude, it's 5:30."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's having a hard time adjusting. And and meal times he's not buying that switching time either. He's like,
Nope.
"Hey, it's time to put stuff in my bowl. Quit messing around." So anyway, let me see if I can dial up that outro that I never can seem to find. There it is. And we will say good night and see y'all next week. Everybody have a
See ya.
good one.